I must give credit to the man Nitin ji, right?
We are really fortunate to have a leader like him. He's extremely aggressive when it comes to decision making. They have built a futuristic city. I sat in a driverless car, moved into buildings with complete technology. We could see 3D printing ourselves.
Which is sort of the toughest project as a group that you've undertaken.
So our 21 months plan actually shifted to 33 months.
Hello and welcome to the next episode of the Dhanda Insights podcast. Today is a very special episode for me because I'm speaking with somebody I've literally known from the past 15 years. While I've known him for several years, it is the first time I'm going to sit with him for an hour, peek into his brain and understand how does somebody go from being a small boy in Lonavala to actually a global icon who's built over 10,000 kilometers of highways in India. We're sitting today with Mr. Satish Parakh, who's the managing director of Ashoka Buildon Limited. Thank you so much, sir, for doing this.
Thank you for having me in this episode.
Amazing. And by the way, Ashoka Group is not just into infrastructure. Over the years, they've grown into multiple forays, and we're going to speak about it. But prior to that, sir, I have one question for you. And ever since I've known about the Ashoka Group, by the way, I've been a big beneficiary of the group. I'm a student of the educational institute that you started, so thank you so much for that. I've always seen that you've dared to do something that looks impossible at the start, but then you're able to achieve it, right? Like a few examples being like the Narmada 8-lane project that you did in just 33 months, like at that scale, doing it in such a short span, or say the Eastern Peripheral Expressway that you literally did in under 500 days, right? Now, for context, like construction as an industry is known for delays, but you've been able to sort of just flip the equation and do it in such a short span. So what do you think sets the Ashoka Group different from the rest of the peers?
See, it's all about our team. The whole strength is our team. And this is a completely homegrown team.
Correct.
So if you see top 20 people, around 51 of them have grown with the company. Some have started their career in the company.
Oh, wow.
Some have joined at the early stage of their career. And they have from trainee to directors. Wow. So this is the real strength of the Ashoka. It's a Ashoka family, it's not a group. And that makes the whole difference in the approach.
Got it. And if you could speak a little about, these are tough engineering projects, right? So how do you approach them? And like doing it in such a short span also requires a lot of like execution muscle. So if you can just share a little about like different elements that come together to do this.
Yeah. So a project, started right from inception while we are bidding.
Okay.
So while if bidding is done, if homework is done very correctly, and you put in a lot of efforts before bidding, that gives us real confidence of completing in time and in given cost, because these are all EPC contracts.
Correct.
So design is yours, all the risk is yours, and timelines also you have to match. So there is nothing like you are going to be measured and paid for.
Correct.
It's a lump sum contract with given specs you have to complete within given timelines.
Correct.
So unless there is a lot of work put in before bid, you cannot really successfully start and complete a project. So we have an excellent team who deep dives before taking up the project. So it's a lot of time goes into planning.
Got it.
So that execution is very smooth, and though we do face challenges in execution, but then you are able to conquer them.
Got it. So you're saying like a strong homework helps you in doing what you've been able to do.
Absolutely.
Got it. And if you could take like a live example and just from a conversation like 10 minutes ago, you mentioned there's like a huge project that you're doing in Kochi.
Yeah.
If you could, just share a little about what would homework for a project like that look like, I think that'd be like a real example to this.
So this Kochi project is a 12-kilometer high-level road.
Wow.
So Kochi, if you see entire Kerala, typically habitation is on both the sides of the road, and there is hardly any space to expand.
Right.
The whole city is, if you see, they are completely parallel to the highways.
Right.
So when you're moving out of Kochi and this 12 kilometers of congested 4-lane road they had, so they want to really decongest it.
Right.
And so they planned a flyover just above the existing road.
Got it.
Now here the homework which we did showed us it was extremely challenging to construct a flyover in a running traffic.
Correct.
Basically you're doing a structure which is supposed to be done on a live traffic moving below.
Correct.
So this requires a lot of engineering, a lot of safety norms. International safety norms are to be followed because when you're doing an expressway, it's different. You don't have to deal with the traffic.
Correct.
When you're doing a bridge, it's different. Traffic is on both the side, but main bridge doesn't have to deal with the traffic.
Correct.
But when you're doing something like this, where there's no diversion possible, it's a complete different engineering.
Correct. Correct.
And since it's a design build kind of a contract, we need to crack the design at an early stage before bidding. We need to plan for safety norms. We need to understand the risk involved and then bid for it and complete it within the given timelines.
Wow. I think very interesting how you mentioned, like an expressway, a bridge, and say like a live flyover or a flyover with live traffic is so different.
So different it is.
Nice. And the fact that like you've taken different kinds of projects, right? I mean, this is just within, say, road construction, highway construction, but you've gone into power, you've also ventured into healthcare with Ashoka Medicover, Ashoka School, I mean, and I've been a beneficiary, as I mentioned, then agriculture, power, like very different kind of ventures, right? So if you could just turn back the wheel of time, take us to, say, the late 1970s, 1980s, from that point to today, how has the group evolved, and what are like milestones you consider of different, forays into different ventures? So perhaps if you could take us down the memory lane.
If I could break this into 4 decades.
Okay. Okay.
So the first decade, which was 80s, the group was doing a small time contractor. When I joined in 1982, we used to construct buildings for governments. So there were small time government contracts which we started with. In 90s, we moved or say graduated to become a private industrial player when Manmohan Singh came in and he opened up the policies and a lot of industries were coming in. So we were already facing challenges with government in terms of decision delays, payment delays. So we thought we should move to private industries.
Got it.
And that was a booming time. We started with a small industry. And then slowly we picked up what they really want. And for them, time was very important. For them, quality was very important. So our team was completely equipped to grab on this opportunity. We could complete project for them much before scheduled time. Because here there was no bureaucracy involved. Here is a private customer who wants it yesterday.
Correct.
And we were there to deliver it even before that.
Oh, okay.
So that gave us phenomenal edge. And we were working we worked for everybody from national to international level. So like second decade, we completed projects for everybody from Reliance to Birlas to Tatas. And also covered a lot of multinational like Pillsbury, Mafatlas, Burlington.
Oh, okay. And all
So
over
who's
India?
who of India, like 20, 30 projects used to go at a time.
Oh, wow. And all over India?
All across the country.
Oh, wow.
So that was second decade. Then 1996 was the real turning point for the company.
Okay.
When Nitin Gadkari, who is the current highways minister at the center, used to be PWD minister in state government, Maharashtra.
Correct.
And he was trying to sell the concept of BOT. So one fine morning when he came to Nasik, and he had a meeting and he was trying to attract people to buy this concept of BOT.
Sorry, what is BOD if you can, like, for the audience?
BOT is like build, operate and transfer.
Oh, okay.
The model for highways which was very popularly used, which is a public-private partnership. So Nitinji was one person who was trying to market this concept and attract contractors and investors to bid in these projects. And we were the one company who at that time thought, yes, this is a good opportunity where we don't have to take money from government. We
Right.
can borrow from
Private lenders.
banks or private lending and build the road and collect our money through toll. So we thought we'll give a try to this. So in the entire Maharashtra, we were only 2 companies who said yes for this. And the first project was won by us, which was a Dhulia bypass, which was just a 5 kilometers, which as against 30 months we completed in 9 months.
Oh, okay.
Because while working with industry, we learned about speed and quality.
Correct, correct.
So we could implement that here and we could build this in 9 months, thereby getting an additional toll of 21 months.
Nice.
So that was the first success story in a new venture, which really motivated us, to build on this story. And slowly, within 10 years, we became largest operators of BOT projects in the country,
Wow.
number wise. Then slowly NHI also started with the same concept. And this is how then we moved from BOT sector to fully a developer in highways. As this model became very successful, lot of other people also entered.
Correct.
So big groups like GMR, GVKs, SL, everybody wanted to do this, Reliance.
Right.
And then there was a huge competition and we thought now we need to diversify. And that is where we entered into power sector.
Got it.
So last 16 years we are doing power EPC and we are highly successful in this sector also. Then we saw there is a huge demand for railways. And the focus of the government was to build the new railway infrastructure and to upgrade the old infrastructure. So last 5 years we have moved into railways. Now working in 5 states in railways.
Wow.
And then as EPC became more and more competitive, we thought of becoming a full range EPC player. So today we are in buildings, we are into water sectors and smart infra.
Nice.
So this is how we are full range player as far as business is concerned. Along with this, our chairman always had an idea of, doing something in education. So we started 15 years back in education and today we are a well-established player.
Yeah.
We are very soon starting our projects in Pune.
Okay.
Yeah,
Like from Nasik, you're expanding to Pune
expanding to Pune now.
now. Nice. So,
So here also we are doing right from KG to PG.
okay.
Yeah.
Nice. So that's education. Healthcare as well.
Healthcare we entered last 4 years back. This was also a dream of our chairman when he was studying. He always wanted to be a doctor.
Oh, okay. Not an
Yeah,
engineer.
but he could not get admission in medical and he took admission in engineering.
Correct.
A very successful engineer. But somewhere back of the mind, medical field always attracted him. So he conceived a state-of-art hospital,
Correct.
which everybody at the inception of it said to want to work in place like Nasik. But let me tell you, we are so successful. Today we are putting up the 3rd hospital in Nasik.
Oh, okay. Wow.
So after
And in a
super
span of 4
specialty,
years.
oncology, and after oncology, now mother and care.
Oh, and in a span of 4 years, that
In
too.
span of 4 years.
Wow.
And really, the whatever the group has taken, we have gone into micro level, we have learned it from scratch and have built upon it. And that is how the success of Ashoka works.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, again, thank you so much for laying it down. And I'm able to see how one thing adds on to the other, right? Like, say, in the 1980s, you were sort of transitioning from, being like a smaller player to taking larger projects to actually moving to the private sector. And what you perhaps learned there was like quality and speed. And then eventually in 1996, being open to like newer ideas like BOT,
Right.
grabbing onto it, and then like a whole big system coming in. Then when you saw that it's getting competitive, you found like an adjacent space, got into it. When you saw that is also getting adjacent, like let me go full stack. So I feel you've always sort of played on to your strengths and kept on adding onto it, and perhaps which is why so many synergies between the group and so many ventures.
And now we have moved internationally last
Correct.
5
Yeah.
years. and today we are working in 6 countries.
Oh wow! Like I heard about the Guyana project as well. Like it's like
Guyana, it's a very far off project.
yeah,
It was challenging to beat from here and win it and then execute it.
correct.
But our second generation has taken it excellently and they have executed it, they have proven it that they can work anywhere in the world.
Nice. Yeah. I have a couple of directions I want to go to, but one thing that I really want to take up as a citizen of this nation, right? Like I've seen a lot of changes when it comes to infrastructure across roadways, highways, and then of course airways, all of these social infrastructure. And I must give credit to the man Nitin ji, right? And you mentioned right from 1996, he's been sort of being ahead of the curve when thinking about newer ideas, what can lead to development. I'm assuming you've had the fortune of knowing him for so many years. So if you can share a little about the man, what is he like? How does he think? And just generally, that'd be like a great insight into who he is.
We are really fortunate to have a leader like him.
Mm-hmm.
And we have closely seen him last more than 25 years now.
Correct.
He is one person who would think ahead of time. And is one person who is solution minded.
Mm-hmm.
So in any given situation is there to find a solution. And he is ready to acquire knowledge from all the experts across the world. If you meet him and if you give him some idea and if he feels that this is what is required for the country and this is what is really going to save the resources of the country, then definitely is the one person who will encourage to do it. Be it his ministry or be it any other ministry,
Okay.
he will stretch himself, cross his borders,
Wow.
talk to those ministries and get those things pushed and done.
Wow. So he's like a
So even in working in an environment like government, he would motivate people to bring best out of them.
nice.
And that is what we have learned from him. And he is extremely aggressive when it comes to decision making, when it comes to doing something impossible, setting a very high targets and achieving them.
Nice.
So he has been absolutely dynamic leader we have seen.
Nice. Any particular instance of his that, like from a project or perhaps like if you can share.
So when we were like taking a prize for one of the bridge in one of the programs, and that was given for the speed of our bridge project. That time our chairman thought we have an opportunity to do something like a record.
Correct.
And in a small group we decided that we have one project coming up which we can really target in, it was like 12 months and we wanted to target like 45 days.
Correct. Yeah.
So chairman sir went to Nitin bhai and said we want to do a world record.
Yeah.
And this is a project of Mandwe Bridge which we have won.
Correct.
And we want to set up a record. You please direct all your team to align and
Correct.
work towards it. Nitinji very sportingly took it. If somebody is ready to do a world record in India,
Yeah.
then why not encourage them? So he called his entire team from chief engineer to secretaries and told them that all of us will have this pride of
Correct.
doing this project in a record time of 45 days.
Correct.
And that's how things got aligned and we completed that bridge in 38 days.
Oh wow.
So credit goes to, it's not, we could not have done
Correct.
without the blessings of the government.
Correct. Correct. Yeah. I think this is 1999 if I'm not mistaken.
And after that, various records we have done under him,
Correct.
right from bridge across Narmada,
Correct.
which was first time in India 8-lane bridge was built.
Correct.
That too in a record time of 33 months.
Yeah.
So if you see abutting bridges on the Narmada, they have taken more than 7-8 years.
Oh wow. You were able to do it like
And they were like 3-lane, 4-lane bridges.
correct. So you're saying twice the size in less than half of the time.
Yeah, 3 times the size,
3 times. Wow.
less than 1/3 of the time.
Oh wow. Oh wow.
So this always comes when we have leaders like Nitinji in front.
Got it. And I feel he's a true nation builder, right? Like as you say,
Yes.
it's not just his ministry, but he's gone beyond to other ministries as well if he feels that this is needed for the nation.
Absolutely.
I
So he has been doing for alternative fuel. He has
Correct.
been talking of hydrogen fuel, has been pushing up EV network. So everything and anything which will save resources for the country, he's there to push it.
Wow. Wow. I'm glad that we have nation builders like him. Amazing. Um, I just want to ask you an adjacent question, and this is more from it stems a little from curiosity about how there are different dynamics within the same construction industry. So one kind of construction is say builders, right, who build like real estate projects in a particular city, and you have big names in almost all cities. Like if I go to Mumbai, you'll have like the Lodhas, Rahejas, Rustomjis of the world. If you come to Bangalore, you'd have like Sobha, Prestige, Embassy. But the crisscross won't happen. Like a Bangalore big real estate developer may not be as big in Bombay and vice versa, right? But you mentioned right from the 90s, you've been doing projects pan India. So while both of you are in adjacent construction spaces, one type of player can be national, while the other is regional, and it's an observation. I don't know the answer to it.
Yeah.
What's your take on it? Like, why
See,
does this
basic
happen?
difference is real estate deals with customers.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, it is all building a brand in a particular region and then encashing it over the years.
Got it.
But when it comes to national highway building or power or railways, our end customer for us is
Government.
government.
Correct. Okay.
So wherever we get opportunity or bigger contracts, we can go and work in that area. And we need not build a brand to attract a customer. We have to build a brand where we can get qualified for further complicated projects.
Got it. So you're saying it's B2G versus B2C, and which
Yeah,
is why
yeah,
this difference. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. That actually makes sense. And just generally also, right? I mean, the the highway or say any construction or any public works that you do with the government is sort of plagued with perceptions like, oh, there will be like time delays, permission delays, payment delays, right? So just how do you deal with it? Like because you've dealt with the government for such a long time, like how do you build successful projects within like a short span of time?
So definitely when we bid for different governments, we need to study and understand who is going to finance the project and what is the need of the project. If these two questions we get right, then we are in the right
Got it.
place. So many times they are ADB funded projects, so funding is guaranteed. Many times national highway is backed by budget reallocations.
Got it.
So we are sorted.
Got
The
it.
challenges are with state governments. So where always there are shortage of funds. So it can delay the project or change the priority of the state government. So there we have to be more cautious.
Got it.
If they are centrally funded, if they are funded by ADB Bank or other international banks,
Right.
then definitely we do those projects.
Got it.
If they are state government funded, we must understand and analyze. It may get delayed, so we have to cater for it.
Got it. Interesting. Like, I want to take a little to, like, this example that you say, we use this in the software world, which is qualifying your lead, which means understanding the need and the ability to
Right.
pay, right? So here you're saying, given it's backed by, say, like the Asian Development Bank or like a couple of these international players, or like, say, it's of importance for that particular ministry or like, government, that's how you identify which are projects
Even
worth
when we
taking.
work for international projects, if they are funded by Exim Bank India, then there's a guaranteed funding.
Got it. Got it.
If they are international projects and if they are funded by World Bank, then there's a guaranteed funding.
Got it.
But if they are the country funded projects, we really need to look into the financial situation of a particular country.
Got it.
Yeah.
A question, and perhaps given you've been in like the infrastructure space for such a long time, have you considered venturing into say airport construction or say ports construction like the Adanis or GVKs,
Yeah, yeah,
GMRs?
So we did venture into these sectors, but we were not as lucky as we were in highways.
Okay.
In highways, we were like early entrants.
Hmm.
So these were the sectors where we were not early entrants.
Got it.
So these people who have dominated the sector could only succeed in this.
Got it. So would you say like in infra, early mover advantage is real?
Yes, it has been in our case when we worked for BOT,
Right.
when we worked in power sector.
Got it.
Railways, we are early mover. So it really works for us.
Okay. So if I can ask you a trade secret, what's the next big thing that you're looking at?
So we are working in smart infra.
Okay.
So wherever automation is there, wherever technology has to be used, whether it is in education, healthcare, or in surveillance, all these projects are coming up, and this is the next thing which all the sectors will require, right from highways, railways to power.
Interesting. Interesting.
So that is the next thing we are working on, and definitely will be early movers in that.
Got it. So do you have like a internal strategic team which is always looking at, okay, what next, what next? Like, is that a question that you have all the time?
It's the core team at the top,
Hmm.
which, when we decide on a business plan for 3 to 5 years, we decide upon the sectors which will complement us or sectors which will be futuristic in nature. And that is how the direction is decided and the team moves.
Got it. Interesting. So you're on the lookout for like what are macro trends, what are macro sectors that are exciting, and then accordingly you think of a 3 or 5 year plan.
Yes.
Interesting.
Basically, we try to align with the government.
Hmm.
So when government says digital India, we need to understand that everything is now going to get digitized. So why not
Correct.
explore in that space? So when the
Interesting.
highway budgetary allocation is more, so definitely there's huge opportunity. Whether the railways has now taken over highways allocation.
And so I want to ask a couple of questions to you on the personal front as well, right? Is like you mentioned like the group started in the 1976 if I'm not mistaken, and today like close to 50 years now. Um, but it's not just like one person or one family and they are running it, right? Today you are like two families and within that two generations as well, right? So dynamics can get complicated. So just share a little about like how do things work, and you also mentioned about how the newer generation has taken up, proven their metal. So just what's the structure like and how do you have room for growth for everyone?
So if you say this is a Ashoka family, where it's not two families are okay. They're at the forefront. But if you see our all top 20 people at the Ashoka, around 16 of them are last more than 2.5 decades with us.
Oh wow.
So once you come here and you start working with Ashoka, you are co-owner. And that co-ownership really works for us. And there is a complete trust. When different families come together and work in a group, it is all about trust. So I joined 1982
Correct.
as a trainee engineer. And today I'm a co-promoter. It's not that I was a promoter when I started.
Oh, okay.
Similarly, shareholders, almost everybody is a shareholder in the company.
Wow.
So if company grows, it is definitely every individual in the company grows. So today we have family of 14,000 people.
Oh wow.
If you say next generation we have given them complete freedom to explore into new areas. And that's how, they started out of country. So when next generation came, we really crossed the boundaries. And slowly they have proven their success rate and moved into 6 countries now.
Wow. Very nice.
So it all works when you see the potential in the people working for you and you give them more freedom to achieve that, to enhance their potential.
Right.
It really works for us.
Wow. By the way, I didn't know you were not a promoter when you sort of joined in,
Yeah.
right? Like, oh wow.
I joined as a trainee engineer on a SIDCO project in 1982.
Wow. And that is so inspiring to see, right? Like literally,
And
it's
most of the
merit-driven.
people, if you see Sanjay Londe, who is CEO,
Correct.
Rajendra Burada, they all from college and their whole life is here.
Oh,
Sanjay left TCS because he wanted to come to Nasik for some family reason. So just second or third year of his career, he came here as a junior engineer. Today he is the CEO of projects,
wow.
running all the projects across Ashoka.
Wow.
So this is how, CFO Paresh Mehta, who is last 25 years with us,
Correct.
started a small time chartered accountant and now CFO for the company of 10,000 crores turnover.
Wow. I must applaud the group for like, just giving the space for growth, right? I see a lot of times.
It has been complementary.
Mhm.
So they have always thought it was their company.
Got it.
And that is how we are reaping the success.
I think, yeah, I mean, I can relate a lot to your first answer around what sets Ashoka Group apart. It's the team, and a team that's not imported from someplace but literally grown from like grounds up.
Homegrown team, yeah.
Yeah, very interesting.
Though in newer sectors we do acquire talent from outside,
Mm-hmm.
but then they are groomed and they become part of the family, and that is how we are able to crack the model.
Got it. And I think one thing you mentioned about like you're again using the word family, and now I can feel why you use it, right? Because when the going gets tough, it's only family that sort of sticks together.
Right.
So question I have for you is, which is sort of the toughest project as a group that you've undertaken, like, you know, which was really, really challenging. So if you can share
So-
about that.
Each project when we started was a challenging. As we moved along, it did come across a lot of obstacles like Narmada Bridge.
Yeah.
It became very challenging when we struck across a major flood.
Okay.
Yeah.
During the construction
During
phase.
the construction.
Oh wow.
So a lot of our temporary bridges and all the equipments got washed away.
Oh.
So we rebuilt again in the next season. And next season we again had a major flood.
Twice.
Twice major floods which has not come even 50 years before.
Oh, and it had to
Yeah,
come.
it
on
has to
those.
come there. In addition to this, there was a COVID wave.
Correct.
First COVID and second COVID also came
Correct.
during that season. So our 21 months plan actually shifted to 33 months
Oh.
because of these 4 obstacles. Otherwise, we would have completed Narmada in 21 months, which would have been
Yeah.
a benchmark
Correct.
for the country.
Yeah.
But even 33 after completion has been a benchmark.
Of course. Yeah. You mentioned like 6-7
Yeah.
years
So
versus
the
like,
entire Delhi to Mumbai corridor, ours was the first project completed. And this was allotted first because they thought this may take more time. But it so happened we completed ahead of time, and still our part of the corridor is yet to start,
oh, okay.
even after 3 years.
Oh, wow. Okay. You've completed and it's still interesting. I want to pose a situation to you. Imagine you're a 25-year-old today, okay? And you have a lot of energy. You have a lot of willingness to work hard as well. But you're thinking about, okay, what kind of business should I build for the next 10, 20, 30 years, right? So what would excite a 25-year-old Satish about newer businesses? What are opportunities you think exist for the next 10, 20, 30 years?
Yeah, definitely. I think technology is what is changing almost all the sectors,
Hmm.
and it is changing so fast.
Yeah.
So I would definitely explore into technology.
Mm-hmm.
Anything which is coming up like 3D printing or AI,
Mm-hmm.
everything, what is really bringing in greater solutions to the world problems.
Okay.
So those are the spaces which would definitely excite me. Not if I was 25 years, but even today.
Yeah, of course. I've
I
seen
think next
you.
15 years we should spend doing that. And that is how we ventured into smart infra,
Yeah. Right.
where we're building solutions for educational system, for healthcare, for transportation.
Oh, okay.
So a lot of new things are coming up every day,
Got it.
and we are there to provide solutions. We have an excellent team, an independent company who is focused on smart infra.
Oh, very interesting. Yeah. By the way, I want to take a moment to just tell all the viewers as well. This is from 2023, if I'm not 2022 or 2023. I remember you were in the front seat for a metaverse related session at
Right.
Jito Connect in Pune, and that just showed how you want to be at the arrow tip of like innovation about what new things are happening, and just as a curious beginner as well, right? Not like, of course, you've achieved so much in your other ventures, but when it comes to newer things, like you are like the curious kid who's there and trying to grasp all knowledge. So kudos to that, and I must say, like, I mean, I congratulate you for that.
The whole inspiration came, when I visited that Masdar city in Abu Dhabi,
Okay.
when we were doing our Dubai event, and then we visited. They have built a futuristic city
Okay.
where I sat in a driverless car moved into buildings with complete technology.
Okay.
We could see 3D printing ourselves, and that is how it inspired me, to enter into these sectors, which will be
Okay.
definitely futuristic.
Okay. So you took inspiration from like a business trip that you did
Right.
some time ago and felt that okay, this is what the future looks like and I want to build it.
And that is how it worked. And then we have a small group which we meet every 15 days to find out what next we can do,
Oh, okay.
which technologies we can apply,
Oh, pretty cool.
and it really works.
All right, very nice. Amazing. I think we've covered a lot of ground, and I want to take to the most exciting section of, you know, of the conversation, which is rapid fire. Try not to think too much. Whatever comes first to your mind, just
Right.
try to answer using that. Right? Shall we start?
Sure.
Okay. A business leader you admire,
L&T's Mr. Naik.
Mr. A.M. Naik, right?
Yeah.
Got it. A book that you've learned the most from.
That was one Maverick. I don't remember the author,
Okay.
but he was in the book he said always, think differently. And the way his management style was, like giving freedom at all the levels to the people working around him.
All right.
And it really inspired me.
All right. And you've adapted that in your
To a
organization.
great extent, we adopted that in entire administration.
Okay. Very interesting. A shortcoming that you know about yourself and that you work towards.
I have never been health focused, and I always thought if I have a next chance, then health would be the first preference.
Got it.
And while working, the amount of attention I should have given to the schooling and education of my children, there also I neglected. So I always felt
Okay.
these are the two areas which one should always
Got it. Health and
balance
edu-
out. Yeah.
Got it. Health and like family time. as well.
Family. Yeah.
All right. Interesting. I'm sure you've interacted with a lot of successful leaders. What is a common quality that you've seen across great leaders?
So what I have seen, these all achievers have one thing in common was somehow they had in back of their mind that they want to be there.
Got it. Interesting. What is the most amount of money or return, like from a percentage or a multiple, that you've made from an asset you invested and you were like, wow, this gave me like a 50, 100x?
Very difficult. I've never calculated that.
Okay. But top of mind, like one that you feel that, okay, this was like a great investment.
10x was max we could
Okay.
do it from something. Yeah.
Okay. And a flip question, what is the most amount of money you've lost in a day?
In a day.
In a day, in a month, like in a span?
So we did make losses in business,
Got it.
which were to the tune of, when we were like doing Venganga Bridge, और वो जब ब्रिज का लास्ट स्पैन कोलैप्स हो गया
हाँ.
तो we lost more than 10 crores, and 10 crores was a big value in 99 2000.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I mean, it still is, but at that point in time, it was at least like 4, 5x more. Oh, wow.
So those kind of things have happened in life. Recently we did one solar project which was fixed price contract. So post COVID these panel prices went up drastically. We lost around 60 crores in that.
Okay. And how do you deal with such setbacks?
So it does balance out with other projects, and we always take this as a learning, and now we are entering into that sector with all these learnings.
Got it.
So definitely if you lost 60 crores, we can make 600 crores in the next 5 years.
Nice. I like that attitude wherein sure, I mean, it's a part and parcel of business, but we'll do better. We'll learn.
100% there has been learning from all our failures.
Got it.
In fact, successes have not taught so much as much failures have taught us.
Yeah.
Particularly me as a person, I've learned a lot from failures.
Nice. And now from a fixed price, do you go to like a variable price with a buffer?
We do go for variable price, we do go for fixed price, but we now estimate it.
The volatility of the
Yeah,
raw materials as well. Interesting. Is there anything you're insecure about?
Nothing. I'm a very satisfied and a very contented kind of a person. So Never fear of what is going to happen tomorrow.
Very nice. What is comfort food for you?
South Indian is which I love most.
Okay.
It's very comfortable. So anytime, anywhere on the planet, if I get South Indian, I'm like full.
Okay, interesting. Your most prized possession?
Most prized possession is my granddaughter's.
Oh, okay. Makes sense. What is your most impulsive purchase? Like you just bought something on a whim. कि अच्छा लगा खरीद लिया वैसे कुछ.
I'm fond of clothes, so that I do impulsively.
Okay, which is your favorite?
So whether it is costing 40,000 a t-shirt or a 4,000 a t-shirt doesn't matter. If I like it, I like it.
Oh, okay, interesting. Which is your favorite brand of t-shirt?
Porsche has been my favorite.
Okay.
T-shirt, another shoes, another whatever
Achha, so
they
that's
make.
okay.
So they make to a great quality and design. So I like them.
Interesting. Are you buying a Porsche next?
I don't know. Whenever I see a Porsche shop, I do tend to buy something.
Okay. Okay.
Either it's a suitcase or it's a shoes or it's a t-shirt or a shirt. I don't know.
Got it. Okay, so that's
But
your favorite.
whenever I enter a shop, something I buy.
Okay, so that's your favorite go-to.
Favorite brand, my favorite
Okay,
brand.
interesting. The year you think India will hit $5 trillion GDP?
2030 is what I feel. We
अच्छा.
definitely will cross 5.
अच्छा, हम अगले 5-6 साल में कर पाएंगे.
100% कर पाएंगे. The great speed at which country is going on, definitely will be able to do.
Interesting. And one last question. What would you define as your superpower? Like a trait about you that makes you you?
It's my decision-making ability, which I feel is my strength.
Nice. Amazing. It's been a lovely session. I hope you've enjoyed. We've taken a lot of things.
I completely enjoyed. I like, and I hope this really delivers your objective.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for making the time.
Thank you. Thank you very much.